Have you ever seen your child explode in anger, maybe screaming, stomping, or even throwing things, and wondered, how do I even start explaining this emotion to them? Anger is a normal feeling, but it can be scary for kids who don't yet know how to control it. As parents, it's our role not to punish the feeling itself, but to teach our children what anger really is and how they can handle it in healthy ways. This is not just about avoiding tantrums. It's about giving them emotional tools they will use for the rest of their lives. Backhand index pointing right before we continue. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss other essential guides on parenting, emotions, and family life. Now let's begin. Children first need to understand that anger is not bad. It's like an alarm system in the body that says something feels unfair or hurtful. For example, if their sibling takes their toy, they feel angry because they feel it wasn't right. If they lose a game at school, they might feel anger mixed with frustration. When we explain anger, it helps to compare it to other natural things kids already know. You can say, anger is like a storm. It comes quickly, it's loud, but storms don't last forever. They pass. By using simple images, kids can understand that anger doesn't define them. It's just a temporary state that can be managed. Once children understand that anger is a natural emotion, the next step is helping them recognize it in their own bodies and minds. Many kids don't have the vocabulary or awareness to say, "I'm angry." Instead, their bodies shout for them through clenched fists, red faces, fast breathing, or tears. You can guide your child to notice these signs by saying things like, "Do you feel your heart beating faster? Are your fists tight? Do you feel like you want to shout?" These gentle questions help them build a map of what anger looks like inside them. Over time, they begin to connect the physical sensations with the emotion, and that's the first step toward control. It also helps to name the feeling clearly. Instead of saying, "Stop yelling," try, "I see you're angry because your tower fell down." By doing this, you validate their feeling without approving the negative behavior. A useful analogy is to describe anger as a balloon filling up with air. Each unfair situation adds more air until it feels like the balloon might burst. Kids understand balloons, and they also understand what happens when one pops. So you can explain that learning to control anger is like slowly letting the air out instead of waiting for it to explode. At this stage, many parents worry. Won't acknowledging anger just encourage tantrums? The opposite is true. When children feel understood, the intensity often decreases. They learn that anger can be expressed in words rather than screams or punches. You can also introduce the concept of the anger thermometer. Draw a simple thermometer with levels from calm green, frustrated yellow, angry orange, to very angry red. When your child feels upset, ask them to point to where they are on the thermometer. This not only gives them language, but also teaches them to check in with themselves before anger takes over. Parents can make this fun by creating a little chart on the fridge, or even drawing one together on paper with crayons. The act of making it together reinforces the idea that anger isn't something scary. It's something you can measure, track, and work with. Finally, one of the most powerful tools is modeling. If you, as a parent, show how you recognize your own anger, saying, "I'm starting to feel frustrated because the line is long. I'll take a deep breath." You're teaching your child more than any lecture ever could. When children see anger handled calmly and responsibly, they begin to mirror that behavior. They learn that while anger is natural, it doesn't have to control them. Once children learn to recognize anger, the next step is equipping them with strategies to calm down. Think of these as tools in a little emotional toolbox. They can carry with them anywhere. The more tools they have, the more choices they gain in handling difficult moments. One of the simplest and most effective strategies is deep breathing. You can teach your child that when anger feels like a fire inside, deep breaths are like water that helps cool it down. Try balloon breathing. Ask them to place their hands on their stomach. Breathe in slowly through the nose as if filling up a big balloon. Then breathe out through the mouth to let the air escape. Make it playful. Sometimes children need movement, so you can also do dragon breathing, pretending to blow out fire with each exhale. Another technique is the calm corner. Instead of a punishment like timeout, a calm corner is a safe, cozy space where children can go when they feel upset. Fill it with soft pillows, a favorite stuffed animal, or calming objects like stress balls and books. The key is making it a place of comfort, not shame. Over time, your child will associate that corner with self-soothing rather than feeling isolated. You can also use movement to release anger in healthy ways. Anger carries a lot of physical energy, and children often need to move their bodies to let it out. Running outside, jumping in place, or even punching a pillow can release the tension without hurting anyone. Afterward, you can talk together about how they feel calmer. Another helpful tool is naming and drawing anger. Give your child a sheet of paper and ask them to draw what their anger looks like. Maybe it's a storm, a monster, or a volcano. By externalizing anger, they realize it's something separate from who they are. This gives them more power to manage it. Once the drawing is complete, you can even crumple it up together or tear it into little pieces, symbolizing control over the feeling. For older kids, counting can be powerful. Teach them to count slowly to 10 before reacting. If 10 feels too long, start with 3 and gradually increase. This pause helps prevent impulsive actions and gives them a sense of choice. Some children respond well to positive self-talk. Teach them simple phrases like, "I can calm down," "I'm safe," "This will pass." At first, they may repeat these phrases mechanically, but with practice, the words become part of their inner voice. Parents can also introduce visualization. Ask your child to close their eyes and imagine a calm place, maybe the beach, a forest, or even their bed. Guide them with gentle words. Imagine you're sitting under a tree. The wind is soft. You feel safe and calm. This can be surprisingly effective, even for younger children, especially if you practice together during calm moments first. It's important to remember that these strategies aren't magic tricks. They take time, patience, and repetition. Your child may forget in the heat of the moment, and that's okay. The goal is to practice often, celebrate small successes, and remind them that every effort to calm down is progress. Perhaps the most powerful element of all is your presence. When your child is angry, staying calm yourself is like being the anchor in their storm. They look to you to see how big emotions are handled. If you remain steady, kind, and patient, they will slowly learn to do the same. Over time, with consistent practice, these calming strategies will shift from being something you remind them to do into habits they use on their own. And when that happens, you'll see a new level of maturity and resilience grow within them. Once your child learns ways to calm down, the journey isn't over. Anger still needs a place to go. If we stop at calming techniques, anger can feel like it's being bottled up, waiting to explode later. The next important lesson is how to turn anger into something useful, constructive, or even creative. The first step is helping children express anger with words instead of actions. This may sound simple, but for kids, it's a huge challenge. You can encourage them to say, "I'm angry because you broke my toy," instead of hitting or shouting. A good way to practice is through role play. Pretend you're the sibling who took their toy and let them try out different phrases. Then switch roles and model calm but firm statements yourself. By practicing outside of heated moments, you give them a script they can pull from when anger actually strikes. Anger can also be a signal of something deeper, like hurt, embarrassment, or fear. Teaching children to ask themselves, "What's under my anger?" is powerful. For example, maybe they got angry when they lost a game, but beneath that is sadness because they felt left out. Or maybe they snapped at you when you asked them to do homework, but really they were frustrated because they didn't understand the task. By showing that anger is sometimes a mask for other emotions, you help them dig deeper and find better solutions. Another way to turn anger into positive action is problem solving together. Instead of focusing only on calming down, ask, "What can we do to fix this situation?" For example, if they're angry because their friend didn't want to play with them, brainstorm alternatives. Maybe they can invite another friend, try a new game, or take some quiet time. This shift turns anger from an obstacle into motivation for creative solutions. For children with a lot of physical energy, channeling anger into creative outlets can be life-changing. Art, music, and writing are powerful ways to transform feelings. Encourage them to write a short story about an anger dragon and how a hero calms it down. Or let them use paints to splash colors on paper to release tension. Even building with blocks or Lego can give them a sense of control and accomplishment when they feel powerless. Sports and physical activities also help redirect anger constructively. Hitting a baseball, running laps, or practicing martial arts gives children a safe outlet for big energy. Martial arts in particular are valuable because they combine discipline, respect, and physical release, teaching children that strength can be guided, not wasted. Another powerful lesson is showing kids that anger can fuel positive change. You can say, when we feel angry about something unfair, we can use that feeling to make things better. Share age-appropriate examples. Maybe people who stood up against injustice, or a community that worked together to solve a problem. This teaches children that anger isn't just destructive. It can be a spark for fairness, kindness, and courage. For families, practicing repair after anger is essential. Once tempers cool, guide your child to reflect. What happened? How did my anger affect others? What can I do to make it right? This could mean apologizing, helping fix something they broke, or writing a note to a sibling. Repairing is not about punishment. It's about building responsibility and restoring trust. It's also important to remind children that turning anger into positive actions doesn't always mean solving a problem right away. Sometimes the best action is walking away, waiting, or choosing peace. This balance between assertiveness and restraint is a lifelong skill. And remember, your example will be their strongest teacher. If they see you redirect your anger into healthy outlets, taking a walk, journaling, or calmly addressing conflicts, they will copy your patterns. Children learn far more from what they observe than from what they are told. By guiding your child to channel their anger into words, solutions, creativity, and positive change, you are not just preventing tantrums. You're giving them lifelong tools for resilience, empathy, and self-control. With these tools, anger stops being a destructive force and becomes a source of growth and strength. Teaching children to calm down and channel anger into healthy outlets is powerful. But the real goal is to build long-term emotional strength. We want our kids not only to survive their angry moments, but also to thrive as emotionally intelligent people who can face life's challenges with maturity. The foundation for this is consistency. Children need to know that the strategies you teach them will be practiced again and again, not only when they explode. For example, try using calming techniques when things are already peaceful. Take a few deep breaths together before bed, or spend time drawing their feelings even on calm days. This regular practice makes the tools second nature, so when real anger comes, they're ready. Another pillar of emotional strength is connection. When children feel securely connected to you, their anger loses some of its intensity because they know they are safe, loved, and understood. After every angry episode, take time to reconnect. It can be as simple as a hug, a gentle word, or spending quality time together. This reassures your child that anger doesn't damage your love. Building long-term strength also means teaching empathy. Anger often arises when children feel wronged, but empathy helps them see situations from another perspective. Encourage them to ask, how did my brother feel when I shouted at him? Or what might my friend be going through? This doesn't erase their feelings, but it broadens their understanding, making them more thoughtful and less reactive. A practical tool here is emotional vocabulary expansion. Many children say, I'm mad, when they actually feel frustrated, disappointed, embarrassed, or overwhelmed. The more words they know, the more accurately they can describe their feelings, and the less they'll need to resort to angry outbursts. You can introduce a feelings chart at home or play games where they guess emotions from facial expressions. Over time, this builds both awareness and communication skills. Another long-term strategy is modeling resilience in your own life. Children absorb not only how you deal with anger, but also how you handle setbacks, disappointments, and unfairness. If you show that you can remain calm in traffic, stay respectful during disagreements, or cool off after a stressful day, you're teaching lessons more powerful than any lecture. It's also important to give your child responsibility and autonomy as they grow. When children have no control over their environment, anger often becomes their way of claiming power. Giving them small choices, like picking their clothes, deciding what game to play, or helping plan a family meal, teaches them that they can influence their world positively without resorting to anger. For some children, long-term emotional strength involves learning forgiveness. Anger can linger and turn into grudges if not addressed. You can teach them that forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting or saying what happened was okay. It means letting go of the heavy burden of anger. Use simple metaphors, like carrying a backpack full of rocks. Every time we stay angry, we carry another rock. Forgiving is like putting down the rocks so we can walk lighter. Lastly, remember that setbacks will happen. Your child may lose their temper even after weeks of progress. They may forget to breathe, shout instead of using words, or slam a door. These moments are not failures. They're part of learning. Remind yourself and your child. Every storm eventually passes. Every time we try again, we grow stronger. In the long run, helping your child build emotional strength is one of the greatest gifts you can give them. Anger won't disappear. It's part of being human. But with guidance, love, and practice, it will no longer control them. Instead, they will learn to master their emotions, turn challenges into growth, and face life with confidence and empathy. So next time your child feels a fiery storm rising inside, take a deep breath with them, remind them of their tools, and walk together toward calm. You're not just teaching them to manage anger. You're helping them build a strong, resilient heart